Streaming is on.
Well, greetings and welcome to Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. If you are watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at around 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So make a note of this so you can watch or be part of the live stream. Please, plus we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. So you must be a registered Stunt Hangar Forum member to find the link to attend the after party. Now, here at Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you have done lately in your shop or at the flying field. Now, to join this conversation, if you are already a member of Stunt Hangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench. And if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunt Hangar, will not approve you. If you are inclined to not come in and just enjoy watching us on YouTube, that's great, wonderful. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box, and I'll do my best to make your comments a part of the show. Understand that sometimes I can't get a word in myself, but be patient. I will ask the panel your question or make your comment known. Now, if you find Stunt Hangar Video Hangouts or the many building videos that Sparky does on this platform informative and enjoyable, please give us a thumbs up. And that's a like. So subscribe and share the videos. That helps the channel grow. And please consider joining our YouTube channel memberships, which start at $4.99 a month, which is it's actually less than 17 cents a day. And your support helps offset some of the expenses of running Stunt Hangar. And with your membership, you'll get special badges on the YouTube channel, chat box, and unlimited replay of member-only videos. And once a month, Sparky has a question and answer show for members only. You can also use the super chat, which is located at the bottom of the chat box. If you're watching the YouTube live, you can make your donation there, which is immensely appreciated. So I want to go ahead and thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. You're helping us grow this channel, so we appreciate it. Now, I'd like to also ask you to keep in mind that this is a family show, so don't say words or anything you wouldn't say around your children or your grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and post the link at Stunt Hangar Forum. Give me just a moment here. I actually misplaced the link. Let's see here. I'm going to have to throw it all over. Hey, Eddie, I'll be with you just a second. Let me post the link. Let's see here. Let's do. I usually have this done already. Actually, I had it done, but I had a different browser, and I inadvertently switched browsers here. So just bear with me. Oh boy. This is always a lot of fun doing it on the fly. Let's see here. 21. 01. So Eddie, what you been up to while I'm typing this information in? What you been up to? I can't hear you. Did I close your screen?
No, that's it. I had my mic turned off. I didn't turn it on. No, it's just pedaling.
All right.
Trying to figure out what I want to start first.
Oh, that's a good problem to have. I'm multitasking while I'm speaking to you. Just bear with me. I just didn't want it to be total silence.
Yeah.
I usually have all this all set up prior to coming on. Let me see here. Okay. Let's see here. All right. So now the link is posted at Stunt Hangar Forum. You can find the link at the bench portion, and you'll be able to find your way in here. So let me see here. I think let me check on YouTube, see how we're doing over there. I'm a little bit behind because I actually had a friend. I was at the flying field today, and I'm talking to you while I'm setting this thing up. Um, yeah, looks like it's working fine. Let me switch to Sparky's channel. Anyways, inadvertently stuck his hand in the prop while it was running.
Done that, been there, done that.
And it was the APC prop, so you know that wasn't pretty.
It didn't give any at all, did it?
No, I ended up. The other guy that I was flying with, he took him to the clinic, and hang on, I'm just bear with me. Hang on, hang on. I see, this is not a good time.
Love you.
Love you.
Chow down.
Yeah, I know. You saw that?
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm still setting things up, so I was like, this is not a good time.
Now I'm hungry.
Yeah. Oh boy. You know what?
You're going to share that, right?
Yeah, I'll just throw it at the monitor, and whatever sticks you can have. Okay, where am I at here? Okay, hang on a second. Oh my goodness, I'm doing all this.
Hey, you're on Friday, you know that?
You know, let me fix that too. Oh my goodness.
Hey,
Well,
Gary, did you
like I was saying, you guys, a friend of mine, he got hurt, and so Joe took him to the emergency room, and then he came back, and then we gathered all the things and loaded up into my vehicle, and then I went later on and picked him up, which was about an hour or two ago. So I'm kind of just I'm behind. That's the reason why I'm not on it like I normally am.
Don't say you're a little behind, because we all know that isn't true.
Did he just get stitches, or did it break anything?
He got stitches, actually 9 stitches. And okay, so I see the YouTube. We have 7 concurrent viewers. Thank you very much. And we already have 4 thumbs up. So keep the thumbs up coming. And on the chat box, we have Alexander III, and good evening to you. He said good evening to us. And then Tom Rammel, he said, hit the thumbs up button. Thank you very much, Tom. And then Tom Rammel also says, it's never easy, Charles. Yeah, today is not easy, but we're going to have fun no matter what. This is just a little bump along in the road here. Let me see here. So I got that set up, and
you got 5 now.
Yeah, let me move this over here. I have 2 monitors, which makes it a little bit easier. All right. Okay.
Oh, you're getting big time now, Charles.
Yeah, he's hot dogging it. Big
dog.
dog.
I've had 2 monitors the whole time. It just makes it easier to keep up with the chat and with you guys. So,
but you need a 57-inch. You need a 57-inch monitor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you can be the big dog.
That's true. I don't think I could fit a 57-inch in this hut.
Okay, 44.
Maybe possibly. I don't know what this one is, but this one's pretty big. And I have my laptop as well. So that's kind of how I'm doing it. So hello, everybody. Happy Martin Luther King Jr. birthday.
Happy birthday.
I have this quote I want to share with you guys from Martin Luther King. So I didn't wear the T-shirt today because I was afraid to get oil on it, so I didn't wear it. But it says, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's the truth.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
We definitely have to speak up against injustices anywhere just because it's a threat to justice everywhere. Martin Luther King Jr., Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. As a matter of fact, I read his autobiography years ago, and I don't know if you guys know this, but he got his PhD at age 22.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
He's
Smart
I know
guy.
he's celebrated as a good speaker, but he really was a very intelligent person. I mean, got his. Most people don't get their PhD at 22, right? I mean, they're just finishing their undergraduate.
He was
Well,
quite
he
smart.
was definitely he definitely was a speaker for his time, I tell you.
Yes.
I was born the day after he was shot.
Really?
Mm.
April 5th. April 5th, 1968. He was shot April 4th, 1968.
I was driving up to Seattle that day.
Yeah,
Well, I got me a new toy today.
You got a new toy?
Yeah.
What's her name?
Ooh.
Max.
Max? Oh,
Oh, wow, that's
Okay.
speedy. Is that a 40 or a 35? What is it?
40.
Very nice.
I mean, it looks brand new. I mean, the guy's busted and everything, but the muffler is clean. I only paid $30 for it.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
you get some good deals, Eddie. I should give you my card. You go find some deals.
eBay. eBay. Also, while I'm on here,
While you're on here,
I bought some stuff a while back. It was last year sometime. And any of y'all know anybody that could use these?
Yeah,
They look like Sato.
They're Satos. I sure
Yeah.
can use them.
yeah,
I got
nice little
one with
sports
the
coat.
manifold, one without. I have no use for them.
I'd like to have the one with the manifold.
There you go. You want this one?
I sure do.
Okay.
I sure do.
Yeah,
So
we'll just give
I'll
me
send
your
you-
address and I'll mail it to you.
I'll put a PM on here in just a minute.
All right. Because, yeah, I have no use for them. They were in a baggie with some other stuff I bought. The guy was getting out of the business, so I don't need it. It's just taking up
Sure.
space. You want the short one too?
Sure, why not?
Because I mean, it looks like the manifold will fit. The small one. The small one has a baffle in it.
Yeah.
The big one. Take it apart here real quick. Just
Yeah. Big ones
That's
just go
true.
straight through.
it's just a pipe.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Doesn't look like there's anything been taken out of it. So apparently it's just like a resonator or something. But
That's about what it is. Four strokes really aren't that loud.
yeah.
I mean, they just, I don't know.
Yeah, I figured somebody on here would need them. They could use them. So.
Yeah, I have two Sato 72s. One I got from Al Raby that's going in my Bearcat, and one that
Oh wow.
I bought to go in a. Well, I bought it for the Bearcat, but just decided to use it for a spare. Al talked me into. He said always have a second motor and alternate your motors, so you know they both run good. And then if one of them starts acting funny to contest, you got another one ready to go in it. You know it'll work.
Yeah.
It made good sense.
so Eddie, if you run across that extra Aero Tiger you got there, you send it my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
He
I don't think.
he's funny. I think the world of him. But he's
Yeah.
funny.
You think he'd get his elves to make him one?
I mean that. John, while you at it, get him to make a bunch of them. We could all use some of that.
Yeah.
I know a guy's holding two of them. Has never started either one of them. It won't part with either one of them. Larry's a different sort of bird. I'm telling you.
Well, he might use them someday, or just wait. If he, it'll show up on an estate sale someday.
Well, as ornery as Larry is, he'll outlive me, and he's 10 years older. But he's ornery as they come. But he's a good fella. I think I'm glad. I'm always glad when he shows up at the field or the contest or whatever. But he's a different sort of bird. He's an interesting fella. So how's everybody been this weekend? Where did our master of ceremonies go?
I'm here. I just
He's
don't want
probably
to show you. I'm eating my
He's
dinner.
eating dinner and he's not sharing it.
Yeah, I don't want you to see how How I have
like
no
that,
class when I'm hungry.
I got my new toy today. If you're able to see the screen, Charles,
Hey,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
I finally got the brass ones in today, and
Oh, very good.
I'm gonna try them out Saturday. We've got a fun fly down at Charlotte Saturday, at Huntersville Saturday. I'm gonna go down there and fly my own Nobler and my new Vector, and well, I hope to fly the Vector. I mean, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna try to fly it. We'll see if it flies. It's I've only flown it 2-minute runs. I hadn't flown it yet. When I reprogrammed it, that KR timer program where you just push a button and count the number of dots you see, and I'm sitting there, flashes you see, and I don't know. I don't
You
have much
blink, you
confidence.
done lost it, huh?
Yeah, it's truth, and I don't like that system very well. I like the one for the Hubin timer. That one makes sense to me. If you want to, you see what you got, and if you want to change it, you push the button and change it. This one, when you turn it on, if you go to that program, you have taken everything to zero. You got to put something in it. So you don't know where you were. You've got to retime it from zero. And I don't like that system, but that's the way it works. Live and learn, you know.
Live and learn.
But
Now,
then
those lead outs, excuse me, are those lines terminated, both ends?
they are, well, one of them is, one of them isn't. The stainless steel ones are just a kit. All the clips are in here.
All right.
I'll make those up. The brass ones are terminated already, but I don't trust that. I'll cut it, and I don't like crimps. I'll cut that off and wrap it. I've
Okay.
had 2 lines break in 55 years of flying, maybe more, 55, 65, 56 years of flying. I've had 2 lines break. One cost me my first Nobler, and one cost me a brand new plane I call the Eldorado, and I don't know where I got that name from, but
Oh,
anyway.
wow. Oh, that's too
But
bad.
it was a brand new airplane, and the line broke, and it was a brand new set of lines, but they were crimped. And after that, now when I go to the field with new lines, I get somebody to hold that in a piece of piano wire, and I go down to the other side on the handle, and we really put some umph on it. If it breaks, I go rewind it. If it don't break, then I go fly the plane.
Right.
But I don't ever scoff at a pull test anymore. Oh, and we tried something new. Everybody was talking about bell cranks last week.
Yeah.
Take a half A.
Okay.
Not brave enough to do it with anything bigger. Take a half A and just run your lines through the lead out guide, the wingtip. Run them to where the bell crank's supposed to be, and put 2 little pieces of tubing that you've heated and bent and held. Put that back there so your wires just turn and go back. Just
Okay.
go back toward the rudder. Then put a push-pull system on the elevator and take it out and fly it. Now, you talk about a new experience. That's a new experience.
You know,
You will flat realize right quick that you can feel everything that airplane does, but everything happens real fast.
you
Too
know,
quick.
back when when there was still a big copyright or patent war going on with bell crank, there was somebody published a design using that very system, and people shied away from it because I guess it gets draggy after a while.
Well, it would. You start wearing on the plastic after a while. It'd be hard to change it in the wing. I came up with a system to do it the same way we used to do it in sailplanes, but it means you got to have an inner and an outer tube in that wing, so you got extra weight you're dragging around. But
Yeah.
you can pull the inner one out and put a new one in and change it. All you really got to do, though, John, honestly, is just grab a pair of needle nose pliers, put a mark on it, and turn it 30 degrees, or turn it 25 degrees would do it, but 30 degrees or 90 degrees or 45 or whatever you want to turn it, and just turn it to a new spot where it doesn't rub on the same spot all the time. But people don't want to do that.
No.
And I cheated. I ran the lines all the way out to the handle. It went from the elevator all the way through the plane, all the way out to the handle. But that's a new experience because it is so quick.
You want to know why that is?
Yeah, because there's no gearing down.
Well, yeah, exactly right. You got 4 inch spacing on on your
Oh no,
handle.
this is half A. This is half A. I had a
Okay.
2-inch. It's
2
still
inch,
too quick.
but you don't have an inch on either side of that push
That's
pull.
right. That's what I figured out. You don't have an inch the other side, and you don't have any gearing down. What you got is what you got, because it's one to one. So you feel all the torque it takes, and I thought if an 049 pulls this hard, I'm sure glad I didn't hook this up to a 60. I couldn't hold it. Man, that thing was touchy. It's all over the place. But it was fun. It was something to do. I don't know. I kept wondering. I had heard that system was what was around when they were doing the arguments over Walker having the original patent on the bell crank. And I always wondered, how did that work? I mean, that would be awful. I just had mine up. It was only a 2-inch bolt. So it was only an inch above and an inch below the elevator, really 15/16. So it's no. Anyway, doesn't matter. It was touchy. It's real touchy. I like for Charles to got a hold of it. He would have loved it.
Yeah.
With that screaming TD on it out in the backyard, he'd have loved it.
Yeah, he'd wind up putting it on a Strega, you know.
Oh Lord. Oh, I can't say anything because I'm working on a Strega myself. It's the Turbo Raven is really just a Strega wing. It's modified all the heck, but it's a Strega wing with an all new fuselage. I didn't trust that fuselage at all.
You know what would happen? You know what happened with the Strega? With say if you had like a 50-pound bolt going on with the Strega, and it was hooked up directly to your elevator, what would happen there?
Ooh, you'd probably pull your arm out of the socket.
No, pull the elevator out of the socket.
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. It would. You're right. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Ooh. Now that was something I didn't think about.
All of a sudden, that Strega would be coming down in flames.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'd be crying all the way to the wham. I'm telling you, that's a lot of work. I want to see his new Strega. That precious metal is going to be gorgeous.
I think so.
Precious balsa.
Huh? Precious balsa. Yeah, okay. That's going to be pretty plain.
But thanks for the props in advance. We'll see. I'm going to do my best. I'm not going to go crazy like not that Sparky's going crazy, but I'm not going to go for 18 points like Sparky is.
No, Sparky wants 20.
Yeah. I guess right now he's for sure 18 and 19 point plane.
He's
but
always.
He said he could get 20, but he's not willing to put 2 more coats of clear. Because that'd be another couple ounces, and it's like for those 2 points, it's not. He doesn't see it being worthwhile.
But I'll tell you, go ahead. I think he might be right, but on the other hand, if I was Sparky and I could build like Sparky flat builds and finish like Sparky finishes, I'd be going for a 20-pointer and then do the best I could flying it, because it ain't going to hurt him that much. He's not going to be that much heavy. His finishes are gorgeous.
Is a deal breaker.
No, the way he finishes and as light as he finishes, if he just set himself up to go 2 more ounces, which would still be very competitive, it wouldn't hurt his flying a bit.
Is there really that much of a difference between 2 ounces?
No, but you can't convince some people that.
If you've got a 60-ounce airplane or a 62-ounce airplane, the 2 ounces is not really going to matter, is it?
Go back in the archives, Stunt News archives, and look at Al Raby's. What do they call that thing, John? Must-Stunt. He built a Must-Stunt series, 3 of them, and he took one of the Must-Stunts that was powered by a Fox 35 now, and he added 2 ounces to it, and then he added 2 more ounces to it, and then he added 2 more ounces to it, just in lead weights. And he said at some point he realized that heavier is not always a deterrent. It actually flew better in the wind, which he lived in Texas. Yeah. There's always wind in Texas, and it's straight line wind. There's nothing to interrupt it. Nothing.
You know why that is? You know why that is?
Why? No, why?
Because Texas blows and Oklahoma sucks. I couldn't help it. I heard that years ago.
I like him.
Is that from like the Big 8 championship era? Is that's from?
It was about 1968, 60, right around that time. I'm not sure exactly when, because it was before I got really into stunt. I didn't really get serious until 75 when I got married and met Tom Lupa. I met Tom 3 months after I got married, and I tell him he almost cost me a marriage 3 or 4 times.
Well, I bet.
You know, speaking though about this, you really don't have to try to go for. I mean, if you get 18 points, or you get between 16 and 18 points, you're doing okay, unless you're up there in the top 10, you know, at the Nats.
Yeah, that's
the
what I
top
mean.
10, you know, first to fifth place, I've seen it be less than a point between first and
I have
fifth.
too.
And so, yeah, there's where your pretty points can make a difference.
Yeah, but see, what I'm getting at, I think the world of Sparky, and I'm not knocking him in any way. Don't take this wrong, but he is not a Paul Walker. He's not a Paul Walker flyer. Now, he finishes every bit as nice as Paul does.
Yeah.
He finishes as good as Wendy does if he go for the extra 2 ounces and have something to polish. I think his finishes would be in there with Wendy's, and that's as high a praise as I can give anybody, because I don't know how many times Wendy won that propeller, but it was several times in a row.
Yeah, I think it's like 13 propellers I counted.
Yeah, they started to call it the Wendy. They started to call it the Wendy Ertnowski Award. So I don't know how they was going to put his name in it, but there was talk of changing it to the Wendy Award, Concours d'Elegance Wendy Ertnowski Award or something like that. I don't know what it was, but anyway.
Wow.
But Wendy was amazing. What he can do is amazing. If I were Sparky, I would at least 1 year, by gosh, I'd bring one of them dang trophies home. I mean, as good as he finishes, go the extra 2 ounces, put the extra 2 coats on the darn thing, buff it out right, make it compare with, I forgot his name, not Chris Cox, but anyway, he flew an SV-22 that was yellow, and his planes are always yellow, and it's really, really decked out, looked like you reach into the paint. But Sparky could beat him if he just would. He just needs to realize, I'm not going to win flying this year, but I'm bringing that trophy home, and go do it.
An idea.
I mean, look at his planes. He's always in the top. He's always in the top 5. Always. You go looking at the planes out there on the field. Now, he may be 2 rows back. He's got a better design. He's got better everything in his paint schemes. He just don't have it as shiny as the others. The guys that are doing better than him are the guys that have got paint. Looks like you could reach into it, and he can do that.
Are they using lacquer, or are they using the dope?
I have no idea. I'm a dope guy. I don't know.
Some are using dope. Some are using 2-part auto clear. Some are, whatever.
But the thing of it is, nobody puts the time in sanding and buffing that he does. But nobody does a 6-ounce finish and ends up on the front row either.
Right.
Yeah.
But
let me catch up with the.
He's amazing.
Kind of falling behind. So Craig, excuse me, Greg, I say that often, but Craig says Sado mufflers cost a bomb. And then Montana Farmer says, Charles, your camera is off. Oh, it was off when I was eating. I was, pouring down food down my throat, basically. And then Craig says, Sparky always aims for 58 ounces. Current plane is 60 ounces. And then Montana Farmer says, disregard, you must have been away from the computer, laughing out loud. And then Craig says, is concourse judging about how a plane looks and build quality, or how shiny it is?
That's a good question.
That is a good question.
I believe it's both.
Yeah,
there's horror stories about that.
It all depends upon who the judges are. I know Sparky is really particular about the fits and everything, not just how shiny it is, but how it was constructed, the craftsmanship. he looks for that when he judges.
But you
And
take any 5 planes if they're all built pretty much the same to the same quality, and they
Shiny
are
one wins.
shiny one wins.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's just probably just human nature, you know. And then last, Craig says dope is lacquer.
It sure is. It sure is.
I'm all caught up, and we have 12 likes or 12 thumbs up. There's 18 viewers out there, so 6 more of you, please smash that like button.
Push the button, man. Come on.
Hit the thumbs up. I mean, in case you're looking for a like, you're not going to see a like. You're going to see a thumbs up. So hit the thumbs up, please. That really helps the channel grow. We're a small community, and so I really want all hands on deck to build this channel so it's a recommended viewer or view for someone going on YouTube. So let's keep it up. And yeah, I had a customer, or she's not a customer, but someone had stumbled upon our stream, and he really enjoyed it. And so that's what's going to happen with we keep giving lots of likes. Someone who might not ordinarily pursue this, it'll be a recommended view, and they'll check it out. And next thing you know, they really enjoy it, and they become a subscriber. And that's how we're going to build this channel, just by likes and shares and subscriptions. Thank you. Anyways, I'm all caught up, you guys. So go ahead.
That's what happened to me.
I forgot where it was.
Hey, I need
This is real, I'm telling you.
I need airplanes.
What, pictures?
Yeah.
Oh, you get those from me, Greg?
Yeah. You've got yours?
Just to let y'all know too, when I hit the Mega Millions, I'll hook y'all all up.
Yeah,
Cool.
I appreciate that.
I was wondering if you had the right number there. You know,
Hey, I think I could have every number in the pot, but one, and somebody else would win it.
Well, it's 850 million right now, and there'd be 850 million people hit it with me.
Yeah.
I get $1, you know.
Yeah.
Well,
Hit the jackpot and still lose money.
You want to hear I'm going to tell a bad story on myself here. Back when I lived say what?
It's about airplanes, right?
No, not really. But I was living in Wisconsin, and this has to do with money that I could have spent on airplanes. All right.
Okay. All right.
All right. So the state of Wisconsin just got involved with the lottery and with scratch off cards and stuff like that. And I mean, within the second month, you know, I'd go to the gas station, get gas, and I'd buy a couple of scratch offs. And they would change the game every other week, it seemed like. And so anyway, I scratched one off. Now they had a 10 grand top purse on that scratch off. But for a couple of weeks, they had one where you get a double on it, which meant you got 20. And I thought you still had to get the three $10,000 scratch offs and then the double to get the 20 grand. All right. I didn't know you only had to have 2 of the $10,000 and the one double. So wow. I get gas.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you can see it coming, can't you?
Yeah,
I get the gas. I scratch it off. I go, oh, and a double. Oh, I wish I had that third one. I threw the card away.
Oh, no.
Oh,
I could have used that money so bad.
Oh, that is sad. Oh, that is so sad.
I'll tell you what.
Man, you could have gone to the World Championship just to see it.
I could have done that. I could have bought it. I could have bought the first SB11. You know.
He could have been a contender.
Yeah.
I got something new this week. I got a new motor.
What'd you get?
I got a
all right
Race Star 4250, 800 kV.
You really did get a motor and not an engine.
Yeah, I get it is a motor.
Yeah.
How about that?
So that's going on my Polaris.
All right.
All right. Then
Now, how big
you'll
is
get
that
it out
Polaris?
there, you'll dump it and get it wet. Yeah. I've tipped over too many.
It's a seaplane, and so I can't really.
I've tipped over too many seaplanes and had to get him running. I'm scared to death of running an electric seaplane.
Well, it won't hurt the motor to get the motor wet, but as long as you get it oiled up and dried out and oiled up. But the issue I was having with the Polaris is there's no way you can ventilate it and still keep it watertight enough for the electronics. So this way with the bigger motor, same idea trying as, bigger motor and run it not as hard, then it runs cooler.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Have you
Yeah, the
seen those?
batteries are what scares me. Getting those batteries
heat
wet
shrink-
scares me.
The heat shrink would has the silicone in it, so it kind of seals it and makes it waterproof when you do any soldering. Have you seen those things? They're on Amazon. They're pretty neat looking.
Mm-hmm.
It has the solder. It's all in there. You have the solder, the heat shrink, and the silicone, and you heat it up, and it melts the solder, and then it shrinks up, and then with it squeezing the silicone, it's like watertight. That might be
Oh
good.
yeah, yeah. I
That
have
might
seen
be good
that.
for you, Tom.
and I have a YouTube video how to waterproof a receiver too. You use that black liquid electrician's tape.
Right.
Okay.
But there's a YouTube video that I did on how to do that.
And go ahead and shout out your YouTube channel. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's my YouTube channel is Tom Rammel with a space between Tom and Rammel. So it's TOM space RAMMEL. That's my YouTube channel.
All righty.
Years ago, I had a boat, and they said to use a balloon. Do they still waterproof stuff like that with balloons?
I used to do it that way, but the problem with a balloon is it's difficult. Sometimes it's difficult to seal it up where the wires come out of the neck of the balloon.
Yeah, they used to put silicone in it and put a zip tie around it, and it would seal up. But
yeah,
I never finished it, but I ended up giving it to a buddy of mine. So
it works. I used that method for several years, but I like the liquid tape method better.
yeah.
It just seals it better. You take the case off and then use the liquid tape around everything except where the connectors plug in.
Let me catch up on the chat. Here we got Jack Snavely. Hello, Jack. He says, hello, all in the hangar or shop and all around the world. Good day to you all.
Thank you.
And let me say hi to Peter. I haven't said hi to you, Peter, yet. And Gary, Tom, John, and Phil. Welcome, you guys. Thanks for coming in.
So the other thing I ordered this week is, and I haven't received it yet, but I ordered some Spectra line.
All right.
We were talking on the after show party with Mike Lonke, and I was asking about. He wanted me to fly out in the lake with control line, and I was worried about the steel lines getting wet.
Oh, yeah.
He suggested Spectra lines. I thought that's a great idea.
Spacious line. I mean, yeah.
So I got some ordered. So we'll see how that works out.
I still can't remember what pound line. I mean, for like a 46, running this Tudor 2 with a 46 on it. What size lines would you
take? 15 thousandths steel lines. What's the radio?
50 pound line is way more than enough. You're running two lines out there. 50 should be more than enough.
Well, a pair of 15 thousandths stainless steel lines, I think, is 65,000 or 65 pounds, per
Yeah.
line. That's 130 pounds.
So, but okay, the pull test, that's 10 times your weight of the airplane.
Right. So,
Right.
so you could go 60, 65 pound Spectra and be just fine, unless you're running a 77 or something bigger. You know.
No, just this 46 is all. Like biggest plane I'm going to have is that JB Special when I get it built.
46, you're running 15 thousandths anyway.
Thank you.
Say what?
For
Pete?
46, you're typically running 15 thousandths anyway.
That's right.
No,
I said
40.
you need to go heavier Spectra if you're running like a 75 or 77 or an 80 or a 90.
Yeah, I ain't got nothing that big, but I was like, I'm like y'all, I get, 500 yards of fishing line for what one spool of steel, lines would
Oh
cost.
gosh, yeah.
Well, I'm
gosh,
hoping that they'll get off their hiney ends this session for the rule changes and act on the proposal that's in there to make Spectra legal.
I doubt you'll see that this time.
Well, we didn't see it last year because they decided that it was too hard to do it by mail.
Yeah.
What,
Do y'all not use 18s on a 46? 18,000s?
No.
Yeah, used to. Not anymore.
No, it's a 40, 46, you're okay on it. But
I think 18's all I've got, so that's
18, I frankly like 18s. If your airplane's a little bit on the heavier side, I like it because they don't feel so stretchy when you're flying.
yeah.
I used 18s. I used 18s on my Stig Magnum, which was a bit heavy and had a 51 on it.
Yeah,
That was a good combination.
I think I use 18s on my shoestring with a 35.
No,
I tell
That's
you what,
when it's all you got, that's what you fly with.
yeah,
the
true.
first time they taught me into flying at Huntersville, the first contest I ever won was old time stunt at Huntersville with a boxcar chief with a Fox 35. And one of the guys just walked right out my lines, and he's wearing army boots. And just my lines had so many bends in them, it was ridiculous. One of the other guys says, what length line you running? I told him 58 foot. He says 58. I said 58 foot. He said, well, I got a set of 58s. So he gave them to me, and I hooked them up right quick and went to the line and flew and won the contest. And then looked at I said, that plane felt funny that whole flight. And I looked at those lines. My God, they're 18s. No wonder it felt funny.
Yeah.
I remember I put a set of 8s on a half A. Last time I'll ever do that. Those lines are so fragile.
They are.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then I had a 25 power plane, and I put 12s on it.
That's like going
much-
that's like
do
going
that
catfishing with 4-pound test line.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do
Those
that
things are
again.
dangerous. If
Well,
the
12s
guys that
are
make the
legal
rules-
for a 25.
Yeah, but if the guys that make the rules would ever do that one time, would ever go fly with 12s one time,
Yeah.
they'd pass the Spectra, because you can take Spectra and wad it up and sit and straighten it out and go fly it, and it's perfect. You do that one time with 12s.
Yeah, right.
I did get something else the other day. I got my paracord in.
Oh, cool.
oh, what is that? The Kevlar?
It's Kevlar for to make my handles with.
Cool.
That looks pretty thick.
It's 2 mil.
2 mils, so that's about a 1/16 of an inch.
Yep.
Yeah, it just looks thick. I don't know why it looks thick on the screen.
Yeah.
It looks like almost like an 1/8 inch thick. But you guys remember the old rules as far as the lines? It was based upon the engine, and then they changed it to the weight of the airplane. So it didn't matter what the engine was; it was the weight of the airplane. And then and now the proposal now is it doesn't matter what it is as long as it will pass the pool test, right? And that's what we're hoping they get approved.
That's right. And it shouldn't make a big difference. It shouldn't make a difference at all. You know,
I think the big difference is the bow and the wind resistance on it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
The bigger the line is going to have more wind resistance.
when I flew Sparky's plane, which is 700 square inches, I was flying it with 014s, the brass
solid.
lines,
The
because
brass
the
lines.
plane was only 58 ounces, 58 and a half ounces. So we had, the small brass lines on there. And boy,
Wow.
what a treat. I mean, even when it was windy, I don't remember the lines blowing. And that's my first light plane in the wind. And I think that's the way to go. It's just the challenge is building a light plane. But given
Yeah.
the choice, you would rather fly a light plane.
Oh yeah.
To me, lighter is better, but who can do it? I mean, especially with the limitation of the good balsa wood, you
Yeah.
know.
I'm going to say pretty soon you're going to have to build a shoestring with a 46 on it because it's going to weigh so much.
Well, I'll tell you what. You're right. You're right.
I thought I had me a deal set up where I could get me some wood, and it was Balsa Central
Yeah.
Right.
out of Australia. They would not ship to U.S.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, I've been
unless you paid, and unless you use. They sent me an email said that they can't ship to the U.S. and that it would cost too much unless I wanted to pay it. Then they would work me up a price, but I didn't pursue it because I mean I'm
Well,
cheap.
I did find some 3/32 light ply finally. I got looking around some more and I found some. And the weight of that is like 8 or 9, less than 10 pounds for a 4x8 sheet.
Wow.
Yeah, which is, that's
You
really,
found a 4x8 sheet?
yeah.
Where'd you find it,
Holy
John?
smoke.
One of the aircraft stores, but not aircraft spruce. And I've got it bookmarked so I can get back to it again. But
Wow.
I went and looked through a whole bunch of places.
How do you ship a 4x8 sheet of 1/8" plywood without it in like 90 pieces?
Yeah, you ship it in 2x4 foot pieces. That's the smallest size or the largest size you could ship by UPS.
I was gonna say, because man, that thing would be in 900 pieces by the time it got to you.
Yeah, yeah.
You wouldn't have to cut it.
No, you have to glue it all back together, probably.
Yeah.
How much is the shipping?
I didn't check that out yet.
Okay.
He ain't got that far.
Well, I've been trying to order 2 motors from Germany since November, and I have not got notification yet that they're coming, but I finally saw on the website that they do have them in stock.
Oh,
So I'm gonna go ahead and try one day, probably first of the week, to order my 2 Jokers, 4250 Jokers.
Cool. I went over yesterday. I am a member of the group up out of Canada. And they had a meet and greet type of a thing on Skype or something. Anyway, so I went over there, and they had a guy there from Switzerland and a guy from England, and they had a lot of guys from Canada, a couple guys from America. Anyway, but the poor Swiss guy, not Switzerland, Sweden. He has been trying to order some stuff out of one of my favorite vendors down south of me here, and has had terrible luck getting anything on control horns. And I'm thinking to myself, that doesn't sound like the guy I know, So apparently he's been waiting for like 3, 4, 5 months. Kind of like, yeah. So I don't know what the deal is there, but
I heard my dad talked to the postmaster up here at the post office about, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And they said that you'd be surprised how many mail trucks are sitting full with no drivers.
oh
So
really?
yeah, that's why shipping is sometimes it's fast, sometimes it may take you. I ordered some stuff out of Illinois, and it took 15 days to get it. You know, from Illinois to Tennessee. Like, this is ridiculous, but it's because they don't have the drivers all over the country. But now you go to FedEx or something like that.
FedEx is like that.
Well, FedEx around here, FedEx was on point because I mean I've got stuff from FedEx in 2 days.
Here they've got stuff. They've got so much stuff wrapped up. I saw pictures, and they had so much crap laying against the wall, just stacked up over in the corner that they couldn't deliver because they didn't have trucks. People have reordered. My wife ordered some stuff, and it didn't come in. She finally got in touch with the shipper. You have to excuse me. I can't remember who that. Amazon. It did come to me, and they sent her another batch through another sender, and she got one on Tuesday and one on Wednesday. But the one they got on Wednesday had been shipped 3 weeks before.
Oh.
So
yeah. I mean, just because it says 2 day shipping don't mean you're gonna get it in 2 days.
Not right now.
Yeah.
This COVID crap has got everything screwed up.
Yeah.
Well, I think
on the chat. Pardon me, Tom. I'm sorry. Craig says Balsa Central is all metric. They have Aerolite Balsa, which is 4 to 6.5 pounds. Contest Balsa, it is $100 Australian for shipping, but 915 millimeters, that's 36 inches long only.
Yeah.
And then before that, he said, have done independent tests, and Spectraline's fishing line is notoriously inaccurate. Stated pounds versus actual.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I don't know. I use it fishing all the time. I've used it for years. We were on the prototype team, and I've used it for years. I've never had any problem out of Spectra.
No, see, I think that's what Mike Lonke is saying, that it needs to be Spectraline specifically, because the other ones, there is inaccuracies in the other ones. I mean, there's other ones that look like it.
If you get spider wire, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, but it has to be Spectra, and so that's probably what Greg is talking about.
I've got Spectra laying out in the backyard that is just rolled up like this and laid on a nail out there under my deck. When we go flying, we go take it down and spread it out, pull it, and if it don't pop, we'll put 049 on it and go fly it. Wind it back up and put it back under the deck just to see how long it'll last. I've got to replace the clips. They're so rusty I can hardly get them apart, but the line is fine.
Wow. Yeah, I want to use Spectraline only from my Stooge line. But I haven't actually with it. Hey, Tryon.
Hello, gentlemen.
It's good stuff. It's good stuff. It works well. You will.
I got another message from Craig. It was actually under review. Let me go ahead and show it. And he's saying that if you need an address in Germany to unship a small purchase, contact me on the forum, and we'll get it done.
Who's that?
Craig Biswick.
I may do that, Craig. I'll have to figure out how to get in touch with you.
Yeah, so it's his last name is spelled B-E-S-W-I-C-K.
Okay.
That's B-E-S-W-I-C-K.
Gotcha.
He may have somebody that has an APO address, and that makes things a heck of a lot easier.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. It's $29 shipping on getting 2 motors shipped over here, but I've been trying to get them since November, and as soon as I can get them, I'm going to get them. I have a plane downstairs that's very draggy, big radial engine. I'm going to put electric in, and that motor sounds like it'd be a good one.
What are you trying to get?
A 4250 Joker.
Which KV?
510.
The 510?
I was going to go ahead and get 2 510s, and I have one for the Revolution and one for the Super Sportster.
Yeah.
The way that thing pulls your plane, I don't believe it have any trouble pulling the Super Sportster. It's light. It's just draggy.
Yeah. They make also the 820, which is very good fit for a 4S, and they also make the 680 kV in the same frame that is very good on a 5S.
Now this is definitely a 6S plane. It's a train. It's almost as big as Revolution, not quite. I don't remember that exact wingspan, but it's the plane that it was the world champion a few years back. It's the Super Sportster from France. Big 6-inch round cow. It's huge. It's big draggy thing, but it is it turned into a beautiful CO model. I think it's going to be a really pretty model. I still got a few more things to do to it, and then I got to create a battery holder and all that because front's just open. But I need a big strong motor for 6S to go on that thing. It's going to be a draggy beast.
We might have a backup, but I'm not sure.
I think they're available now. They're saying they have them in stock now.
Yeah, I know they're in stock, but if they don't come here, what good is it?
That's true. That's true. Last time I tried to order, they couldn't ship to the U.S. I don't know if it's there now or not, but we'll find out.
Yeah. If you want to try a 4S system, I have the same Joker with a 820 kV, which is perfect. It works on a 4S. I think 6S you might be end up. If you want to max out the weight, it's hard to find 6S in a 2200 milliamps. That's 25C batteries.
Yeah.
They don't exist. Yeah.
Everything I've got is 2800. I got 2800 4s, 5s, and 6s. And they're all
2800 4s would be perfect for 820 kV.
Might try that then.
So
we'll talk this weekend. By the way, the field opens at 10. I'll probably be there then, but just whenever you get there. The meeting is at 2.
Opens at 10, so you're allowed to fly at 10 or what?
That's what they said. They said there would be somebody there and open the gates for us at 10, and we'll be allowed to fly then the rest of the day, all day.
So why not earlier?
I don't know. They've got the gates locked. They're trying to prevent something happening there like happened in Winston-Salem. We still don't have the park here cleaned up. I mean, we've been out there with shovels 2 days, and it's a mess.
That's terrible.
Well, I was trying to get some serious flight that day, going on, but at 10 o'clock,
I think there's going to be 3 circles going. There's 10 of the guys from here going down, but I don't think there's about 8 or 10 of the guys from Charlotte going to be there, if that many. Most of them are going to be virtual. It's a club meeting, and a lot of it will be virtual. But it should be a good group.
Okay.
So we'll see what happens.
All right.
Just whenever you get there, I'll be there about all day. I've already told Mama don't count on me getting home till supper time. So
yeah,
we're gonna go fly.
Very good.
Are you gonna bring the plane with you?
Not that one, no. It's but I don't have room for it. It's when I take it has to go by itself because I'm gonna bring the Nobler and the new Vector and fly them. The Vector is brand new and it's got that KV timer in it. That push button system is driving me ape. I reset it and wasn't thinking, and I don't remember what RPM I was flying it at. So I may be too slow now.
It's the KR timer. Yeah.
Yeah, KR timer. That's it.
Yeah.
And I'm saving the that South American timer. I can't think tonight. I'm saving that. Yeah, I'm saving the Fiore to go in the SV11. It's an SV Cavalier. It looks like a Cavalier, but it's an SV11 aerodynamics. It's white, but that's as far as I've got it.
I'm thinking make it removable, and you can move it from one plane to the other very easily.
Oh yeah, it will be removable.
Especially if you have Go ahead.
Everything I'm building now is where I can take it apart and put it back together pretty easy. I'm trying to anyway.
Yeah. So if you put the Fiore from one plane to the other one, as long as you know your settings, it just should be easy to change them.
Yeah, I haven't done anything with the Fiore yet other than getting it in here. I haven't played with it at all. I do have the timing card for it. but it's right now it's in the Cavalier, and it wouldn't be any problem to pull it out. But
pull it
I've
out,
got
put it
to
in the SV.
I might
Pull it
do
out
that.
and put it in the SV. Yeah, do it.
Oh, the SV is the Cavalier.
Ah,
It's an SV11 that looks like a Cavalier,
ah,
except
okay.
it's got a fuselage mounted gear.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But it should be a good flying airplane. But I just haven't finished painting it. I got started on it, and then it got cold, and it's just.
Then they take the timer out of it and put it in the Vector.
Well,
I mean, it's not doing any good in a plane if it's not flying, right?
Well, that's true. That's true. But I want to get this one flying the way it is. I think it will fly. When I took it and flew it, I only flew 2-minute flights, but that was interesting. It flew very well.
Yeah, it's a good flying plane.
It flies great. I'm tickled so far.
Mm-hmm.
I just got to get some time on it. I've only got four 2-minute flights on it so far. And my only beef with it, it jumped off the ground. I couldn't get a takeoff. It just jumped off the ground. So I put bigger wheels on it to give me some more prop clearance, so we don't tear up another propeller, and put a longer tail wheel on it so that it won't jump up so bad. And we'll see what happens Saturday. Our field here has been tore up the last 3-4 weeks. I haven't been able to fly here, so Saturday's going to be first chance to fly it in about a month. So we'll see.
Yeah. What a lot of people do when they take off, the plane leaves, and just give it that up elevator to pop the plane off the ground. You should not do that at all.
No.
Just keep it on neutral. If anything, just get your trigger finger, just add a little bit of pressure on it. That's all. But no wrist movement.
Usually what I do, I get along the plane. The plane comes a quarter turn. I just raise my hand about 6 inches, and that's enough to get the plane in the air about 4 inches, and then just real slowly corkscrew it up from there. Everybody says, "Well, your takeoffs or something. If your landings were as good as your takeoffs," I said, "Yeah, well, light plane into the wind don't land real good most of the time." But
yeah.
Hey guys, I'm fixing to get off here. Bill, if you want me give me that address real quick, I'll.
I'm trying to figure out how to get it on here. It won't. I can't get it to take it tonight for some reason.
Click on the 3 buttons next to his name on his picture. And as soon as you do that, you're gonna have it. When you click that, it's gonna come with the 2 options. One, send Eddie a private message, and
Let me try more options and see if that does it.
See, send private message and have a microphone setting for it. So just click on the
send. Would you believe it don't have that? I've got select the sound device, invite someone, enable low bandwidth, raise your hand, toggle camera, exit the view, stop stream, live stream, share YouTube video, and add the password and help. I don't know what's happened. Usually I can do this, and it comes up
about
just
the three dots on Eddie's picture.
Oh, he's probably doing the Apple thing, and that's why.
That is, I'm doing Apple.
Yeah, that's why.
I don't have 3 dots on Eddie's picture. If I push Eddie and then push this, it gives me the same thing.
Yeah, those are basically the options we have here, and something else on general.
Eddie, I'll tell you
what, everybody. Chatbox.
What's your last name? Eddie, what's your last name?
Suter, S-U-T-E-R.
S-U-T-E-R. Okay, I will put a private message on Stunt Hangar in the morning.
The wagon.
It'll be on there.
Okay.
It'll be on there.
All right.
I got something going wrong here because I'm showing low battery and I'm plugged up.
I'm not feeling too well tonight, but I'll see y'all Friday.
All right, take
care of yourself. Get feeling better.
Take it easy.
Thank you, Eddie. I appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah, man, no problem.
Take care, Eddie.
If I can get out of here.
Sometimes the Apple stuff will drive you berserk.
So, Lynn, how's things in Southern Canada?
Lynn, how's everything in Canada?
Yeah, everything's good.
Yeah, the Canadian contingent this year, all is well.
Yeah, we're sort of getting back into this again.
Good. You got green grass showing yet?
No, we had snow today.
Oh,
only an inch or so, but we had snow.
It's only an inch.
Only an inch.
Only
Well,
an inch.
Lynn,
I'll
I
be
was
back in a minute, guys.
80 degrees weather today with 8-mile-an-hour winds.
What was that, Charles?
I was flying in 80-degree weather with 8 miles.
Nice. Lucky you.
And wasn't that warm in Florida?
I was in the basement all day working on my Spitfire.
Oh, is this a Adamusco Spitfire or Pat
No,
Johnson?
it's just a profile Spitfire that I drew my own plans for.
Oh, very cool. Very,
So
very
it's
cool.
coming along. I've got the fuselage done, the tails are all done, the wings all built now, the bell crank's in.
Okay.
Hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to put it all together.
And you no show? We want to see it.
what? This guy?
No, he wants to see the Spitfire.
I'll go get it. Hang on.
Yeah, thank you.
There
Lynn.
you go.
It's in pieces.
You show us what he's been doing.
This is my little cat. He only weighs 18 pounds.
Good grief.
That's about as big as mine is.
My mother had a Maltese one time. She got a Maltese cat, but I didn't know mother had a Maltese cat.
Wow.
And the Maltese liked to get on the highest thing around, which in Mom's house was the refrigerator. So I was walking through the house from the back door, going to the front, to go up to my room, which was upstairs. And I didn't live there anymore. That's after I got married. But the cat decided he wanted down off top of the refrigerator. Well, the closest thing was my shoulders. All of a sudden, I'm on the floor, face down on the carpet, and I look up trying to figure out what happened. I'm trying to shake it off. And this thing's got this great big flat face right in front of me, white as snow. Meow. When the heck did Mama get a cat?
He's got the wings on. He's
thing weighed 35 pounds.
Wow.
Huge cat.
Well, I love that
Sharpie.
wing, man. That looks good.
Oh,
yeah.
Look at this. Pretty.
Oh, he's not that good looking.
No, not him. His wing.
Oh, I was getting a little worried about you.
You didn't hear any of that, John.
I'm worried about you guys. Your
Hey,
plane
Lynn,
looks,
that wing looks beautiful.
that's nice.
Oh, thank you. It's coming
Which
along
plane is
okay.
it? I mean, it's a Spitfire, but which kid is
Yeah.
it?
It's not a kit. It's all scratch built.
Wow, nice.
It's all scratch built. What I did is I took the rib patterns from a Banshee wing,
Yeah.
cut my own ribs by hand, and then just built a Banshee wing, and then I changed the tips on it and made my own wing tips.
nice.
And then put big Spitfire type flaps on it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
it turned out pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
Put an adjustable lead out guide in it and so forth. And I have to build the tip weight box still,
Oh, very
Good.
nice. It's good.
but it's coming along.
That is nice. I like that.
I put a
He's a real builder, man. It's not like kid stuff here.
in the bottom of it. I've put plywood plates in the bottom here,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll mount my landing gear to those.
You got good at
And
narrow gauge. Narrow
What's
gauge
that?
Spitfire landing gear.
No, I'll just bend some 1/8 piano wire with the bender tomorrow. And then what I'm going to do is, I don't know if you can see the pattern on the plywood, but that's where it's going to mount in basically a square pattern. And then I'll just copper wire it right to the plywood and wrap it and then epoxy it. The idea being is that I want them to be fairly strong because I'm flying on the grass most of the time. And I don't want to use just those thin little blocks where you poke them in and then have the two little straps on it. That's not strong enough. Because
Right.
what it does is the tension makes it crack out of the wing all the time. So I put actual plywood plates in. It'll be a little bit heavier, not much, maybe a half an ounce or an ounce heavier. But I think it's worth it. And that at least when I'm landing the grass, it's not going to ever tear the gear out.
Yeah.
Aren't they a bit close together?
Well,
What's
that's the way a Spitfire is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I was just asking
the
how
wheels
they
are very
work
close together. Yeah, they're very close together, actually. And then
So
the fuselage.
Lynn, is that one of the 100 Windy and Alski bell cranks? So you're down to 99 now?
Yeah, yeah. By the way, I did a count on those. I don't have 100 of them. I've only got 51 of them. I actually counted how many I had left. I gave a lot of them away. I gave a lot of them away at contests over the last few years, so I'm down to about 50, and I'll probably end up needing about 20 more myself, so I don't have as many as I thought I had.
Yeah.
But if any of you guys want any, I can send you one or two if anybody needs any. I do have a
Yeah.
few.
I may remember that, Lynn. Those are
How much,
beautiful bell
how much do
cranks.
they weigh?
I think they're 0.7 ounces.
Really? That's not bad.
No, they're not bad.
Beautiful.
There's
They're
the bell
beautiful
crank there. Oh. Yeah, they
Yeah,
really are a
beautiful
nice
I
bell
think
crank.
I think I have one of those. I haven't used yet. I have one.
Nice.
Yeah, they're beautiful bell cranks.
They're really nice bell cranks, no doubt about it.
When
And
you
I
did
wanted to
them
put
up-
oh, thank you. And here's the fuselage here. I think I showed it to you guys already, but I'll show you again. There's the fuse.
Nice.
All right.
Love that canopy.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, isn't that kind of cool, eh?
Yeah, it is,
So,
eh?
yeah.
I like this.
Very nice.
Hey!
I'm getting out of here.
There's the tail section.
You're gonna get out.
Getting
of the
out.
house.
That tail's not glued in. It's just sitting in there, so it's not glued in.
I like the elevator. There you go.
That looks nice.
Counterbalance. That's nice. You do.
And then,
good
of
work.
course, well, thank you. And of course, there's the rudder and so forth. And so, yeah, tomorrow, hopefully, I'll be getting it together, and by Friday, you can see what it looks like in one piece.
Wonderful.
You build a heck
Thank
of a
you.
lot faster than I do.
Very nice. Thanks for the show and tell, Lynn. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah, I'm having fun building it. I enjoy it. I go down every day pretty much right now if I'm not going to work, and I just go down and work on the airplane for 4 or 5 hours. So it's all good.
Wow. Wow.
You know, you guys, I wanted to talk about something. I have a topic we can just kind of throw around. You know, I'm wondering about wingtip weight. You know, I remember reading Paul Walker's trim article, and him talking about, you know, when you're out of trim, you know, you can put, you know, a lot of weight, doesn't make much difference. But once you get close to trim, then it's just really infinitesimal, small amounts of weight, and he could sense the difference. Remember the article he wrote? And he said he could tell a fraction of an ounce or not. And I was wondering, do any of you get to that point? I mean, I've just been putting in, you know, quarter ounce weight.
I don't think so.
No.
And I go,
I'm not sure. I don't think so. You know.
No.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm always just close, not right on.
Bob Wiley could watch you fly and tell you needed eighth of an ounce of tip weight.
What you needed and how much. He was amazing.
Yeah.
Say hello to my little kitty.
That's not a little kitty.
See right over it. Oh, wait.
Wow. That is a piece. That is a big piece. Look at all the kitties. They're all here tonight.
look at
Well, I
that.
tell you. Well, I tell you, that's a big kitty.
That's a
That
big.
looks like,
What do you feed? What do you feed something like that?
Anything it wants.
Anything it wants.
Wow,
What's a
that's
kitty?
a big cat, Tryon.
Holy cow!
He loves to cuddle.
Good gracious.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah, he's a big rascal.
Oh yeah.
That one purrs. It sounds like somebody turned down the amplifier. Good gracious.
Sounds like a 455
Yeah.
sitting on the starting ramp.
Yeah.
You hear that?
Charles, I'd
Yeah.
be willing to bet that 90% of my airplanes either have a half ounce of wingtip weight or 3/4 of an ounce of wingtip weight.
Wow.
I never seem to be less than that or more than that.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
it's just to try to fly it and then take some out, add some, and see what happens. You know, what do you like? You know.
Right.
That's right.
I'm doing that.
I had a ton of tip weight on mine. I was really misbehaving, and then after the Nats, Matt Collin put his hands on my plane, and we started to add Play-Doh on the inboard tip, and almost cut a lot of it off. But now the plane was, when you turn it, is no dropping of the wing, nothing like that. It just follows nicely. So that's kind of your goal. So it feels like the plane is just wants to buck like this, or the wing drops or something like that. So two things is going to happen. It's going to do this, okay, or it's going to do that, or both of them.
Right.
Okay. So try to take some out and see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, I've been using increments of a quarter ounce. So I was really curious if anyone has gotten more finite amounts.
It's every plane has a different one. There are no two planes that are going to have the same amount.
I get down to an eighth of an ounce with some planes.
You start to tune it in. If you're down below even like an eighth of an ounce difference, as opposed to all I'm throwing in and taking out is quarter ounce at a time.
It should be fine.
No one's doing any less than that.
If you get down and you fly one and you think, I can't decide if it needs a quarter ounce more or this other quarter ounce, sometimes I feel like I need it, sometimes I feel like I don't need it, try an eighth, put an eighth in it and try that. But the way I always tell the stumbling block for me, fly the thing overhead, do your wing over, and when you get dead overhead, try to snap, bring it down in front of you, or try to snap to take it the other way. You better be quick on your feet when you do it, because you got to turn around. But snap it to go behind you. You don't want to really snap it though. You don't want to let it go. You just want to make the plane change direction, and then look and see, does that outboard wing, does it follow or does it fold down? I had one that you'd hit it and that wing would go the other way. It would float. So I put a little bit, I looked at Paul Walker's thing and I put another eighth of an ounce in it. It cured it. Oddly enough, it was a darn impact.
Wow.
But, I ended up getting that one down. It flies with, what is it? I think it's 5/8 of an ounce is what flies that plane. A half ounce just isn't enough. It floats, and 3/4 of an ounce it bangs. When you turn it, the wing falls over opposite the way it's turning. So it's got 5/8 of an ounce in it. But that's the only one I ever got down that since. Most times, a half to 3/4 is what flies it. 90% of them.
It's funny how we all seem to fall in the same ballpark.
Yeah.
Well, none of us are Paul Walker type things.
No, that's right.
Trayan's getting there.
I'm not sure about that.
The problem is understanding trim well enough and knowing your airplane so well that you can figure out that difference, and I'm not there.
Yeah, I'm not there yet.
No, that is true. I mean,
I don't care to be there.
I can feel the difference, but it has to be a pretty large difference. I mean, if it's quarter of an ounce, one of those plates, or half an ounce, or whatever, I'll notice it.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But like same like when I did the latest tune-up, when I moved my battery forward, and I really liked it. So it was a big change.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Charles, to answer your question though, if you have a question, do I want to run it or not? Always err on the side of too much tip weight, because too little, your plane will float and you can lose it.
Exactly.
It'll
I agree.
Wing. So always err on the side of too much. If you can't decide, go with too much. Should I run this extra eighth of an ounce, or should I take it out? Put it in.
Like when I have a brand new airplane, I always start with 3/4 or an ounce.
That's what I do.
Yeah.
Same thing.
Yeah.
There's a reason Brodak sells those weights in 1 ounce packs.
Yeah. Exactly.
How are you? Good to see you, sir.
What's that, Denny?
How many of you guys weigh your wing tip?
I do.
I
set it on the spinner and the tip, the rudder,
Yeah.
and let it just go over and weigh the wingtip. Yeah, I've done that.
I do that too.
I don't
Yeah.
feel like I learned a lot from it, but because it
Yeah.
don't mean anything. It only means something when you get it in the air. Does it wobble or does it?
Right, right. Ultimately, you prove it in the air. But what I found, what I like, is that I had a bunch of airplanes recently that they all seem to be all over the map, and they were when I was wingtips, they were all over the map. I brought them all into the same standard, and everything worked fine. So basically, I think weighing the wingtip is a bench trimming, before your first flight,
Mm-hmm.
and you can almost always hit it dead on. Like Glenn said, you go on a airplane with 015 lines, maybe an ounce and a quarter on an 018 line, and you're going to be awfully doggone close.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, if in doubt, put an extra one in there. Don't send it up light.
That's right.
Yeah, it's like what. Yeah. So what I did, the reason for which I wait is because when I came back from the nets, I had all the Play-Doh over there, and I said I'm going to take the weight out from the wingtip, just to take the weight off, and rather than just keep it added up on the other wingtip.
Mm-hmm.
And I just weigh the wingtip first, and then I weigh whatever I took off from the other wingtip. Did the math, and I knew exactly what I need to get, and I just double it. I just copy it.
Yeah.
It was just the same as before. So yeah.
That cat looks exactly like Tiger.
So when you weigh the wingtip, Dennis and Tryon and everybody else, so you got your hand on the finger on the spinner and a finger on the rudder if you can reach it, right? Strigeg,
Right.
I don't think. And then
what I do, I just put a block like this under the rudder, so the rudder sits like that. Basically, it's on one point. And also, I do the same thing underneath the nose of the fuselage, or you can put it on a spinner, wherever you want to put it. And I mean, it's just like you can do it any way if you want to do it.
Yeah, the only other thing, I try to make it so it's all pretty level.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So the nose, the tail is sort of level. I just stack up like CD cases under it to get the airplane level, and then I stack up enough CDs to get the scale up to about the right height and stuff. I mean, I don't think it's hypercritical, but get it so it's eyeball level, if you will.
Yeah.
And then you can get a real consistent measurement that way.
Yeah.
So,
Or you can put two blocks like this.
Isn't that right?
Put two blocks like this underneath the propeller, one on one side, one on the other side, so the propeller kind of sits on the blocks like that.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
you
idea.
put another one under the tail, and now the plane is free to do this, right?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And as long as the blocks are, it all depends where your scale is. If your scale is super low or super high, I have an I-beam scale, so I have to lift it off the ground quite a bit to, a triple beam scale. Yeah, so that's what I use.
So, but you're not weighing the whole outboard wing panel. You're weighing, what are you weighing?
Just how much the tip is pushing down.
Just
that's what you're actually weighing. You're putting the scale on a wingtip, on outboard wingtip, and see how much it pushes down.
And how much do you want it to push down?
I simply did it because, I simply did it because of I wanted to see how much I had at the time. So then when I replicate the same experiment again, I want to get the same thing. So because I want to take the Play-Doh from the inboard wing, I want to take some wingtip weight from the outboard
I see what you mean.
and copy it again.
So the idea of putting Play-Doh on the inboard wing while you were flying was to take some weight out of the outboard wing. Is that the idea? Okay, I got you. Okay.
So then when I got home, I just wanted to copy it. So I knew exactly what I was shooting for. And
I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
There used to be a fellow flew here that had an All-American senior.
Yeah.
As asymmetric as that is, had a big glob of clay on the inboard wing.
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know how much lead he had in that tip weight, but my word.
Yeah. But long story short, you still wanna. That's probably a good start point. So you can put your start point for your plane. If it's equal wingspan, maybe an ounce, even an ounce and a
Yeah.
half to be safe. And
Yeah.
if it's an unequal wingspan, then you probably want to have a like 3/4 of an ounce. It'll be plenty safe for the initial flights. But after that, you have to fly the plane. You have to see how it reacts, and depending on the reaction of the plane, you take action.
There is a way when you're bench trimming it to get a good starting point, and that is to figure half the weight of your flying lines and the connectors, and that's how much you want for tip weight on the outboard tip, because you're balancing out your flying lines, you're balancing it out. And that becomes a good starting point. At that point, then you can go from there. But most of the time when I've done that, I've been close enough that I really haven't had to add or take out much weight at all.
How about for a starting point, if you have an empty reel, not one that has lines on it, but you have an empty reel, you weigh that, then you weigh the reel with the lines on it.
Exactly.
Subtract the weight of the reel.
Yeah.
And then
then you take half the weight of the lines and the clips and all that, and that's what you start off with.
All right, that's good.
That's probably about right. I mean,
that's probably good.
Because you're only going to really have worried about half the weight of the lines, because the other half's going to be dragged from the wind. Yeah,
well, you're holding one end of the lines, so you're supporting half of it, and the airplane's supporting the other half.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good idea.
Very good. Yeah, let me break for a second and get to the chat box real quick. Craig Biswick says, question, is it commonplace now to have sharp or pointy leading edges on stabilizers?
That's a really big topic.
Yeah, the answer is yes or no.
Yes or no.
All of the above.
Wow.
Myself, I prefer somewhat pointy airfoil stabs. Okay, not good, pointy enough that's going to cut you, but just bring it to a point.
There's a lot of topics on that subject, whether it should be airfoiled or it shouldn't be airfoiled. It seems like the general consensus is that it doesn't have to be airfoiled, but it does have to be rounded somewhat.
Read what Fitzgerald had to say on the subject.
That's exactly what I'm going to say, John.
You'll wind up with somewhat airfoil with a somewhat pointy shape on it.
So what Fitzgerald said, Fitzgerald actually did the experiment and made it pointy, and he did not like it.
Yep.
He said he didn't like it. But
I don't like it.
He said he tried the plain flat stabilizer, and then he tried the plain flat with the pointy leading edge. He said he really didn't like that one. Then he tried the flat stabilizer like the SV has, where the front part is thicker and the elevator is thinner section. And he said that one worked pretty good. And am I wrong?
No, you're right.
You're right.
Keep going.
And then he went to the airfoil stabilizers, and that was by far the best.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you'll find that he flies with Brett and with Ted Fancher a lot, and Brett and Ted have actually gotten to the point where they've taken a piece of 1/8-inch diameter music wire and taped it onto the leading edge of their stab, because they found that it improved it over the rounded leading edge. And as far as like a lot of guys want to use a 1/2-inch stab and a 3/8 elevator, figuring that dead air gives them a little wiggle room around neutral. The idea is to help stop it from hunting.
That's what I do.
But there's a problem with that. So now you're going to do your horizontal aids, or your vertical aids, or any other where you got to change direction. And you come up there and you go to make your turn, and you got a hesitation. You see one with a flat spot.
You got a dead spot.
You got a dead spot.
Okay.
Yeah, it makes.
I just like it because I like the groove. I like the groove and level flight. That's the only reason I like it. And the only other reason I do it is because it's easy. Unless I'm getting to the level where I'm going to be flying against Fancher and Brett Buck and these guys, I don't have to worry about it because I can't beat them anyway.
Yeah.
Well, Trey, and you got to worry about that.
Well, you know, Bob Whiteley penned a little missive called "Things That Always Work."
Yeah, I have.
And when I read that, I became a convert to his way of thinking, and that is, you want your airplane to groove, put in a 1.5 to 2 degrees of down thrust on your engine.
Right.
Keep your controls tight. Don't have slop in there.
See, that's where we differ. See, I like slop. I always put slop in my elevator on every airplane, and it works for me. I don't know about anybody else, but it works for me.
For you, but I used to use slop a lot too.
Yeah.
I used to be a very sloppy flyer.
Very good.
But when I read that and I started putting the down thrust in there, I found out about prop precession and gyroscopic and all that stuff is what's causing the problem, that and coming into the wind and going down to the wind. And I found that having the down thrust in there stops that. Plane grooves. It grooves. And if you haven't tried it, try it.
What's the easiest way to do it? Put a washer under the back of your motor?
Put a washer under the front of your motor.
No, that's going to give you up through. Oh, no, that's right. Yeah, because you're mounted up. So I get it. Yeah, I'll be all right. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, you'll be all right. Hey, Phil, did you say you had that article, the one by Bob Whiteley?
I have read Tom Looper's. He has it in the magazine. I think it was in a Stunt News.
It was in Stunt News.
I've read it.
How many Stunt News there are?
Well,
all you
check
have to do is look at, get in Stunt News archives and just look up Bob Whiteley article, and it'll come up.
Is there a search engine in Stunt?
I think it was in Stunt
I know there's a search engine in the AMA, but not the Stunt News. That's the problem with Stunt News. You can't really search.
Maybe it was in AMA then.
Check on the notification that Bob had passed on. Somebody mentioned it, and they may have mentioned the issue that was in. Okay, and if they didn't, contact that person because they probably know where it is.
That's a great idea. I haven't even made any comment on that passing of Bob Whiteley. Unfortunately,
I haven't made a comment on it either. But that was a kick in the britches. He was a good fella.
Yeah,
he was.
You guys, I have one more person to catch up with on the chat. Just 1 second. Montana Farmer, I'm sorry, I went right to Craig and I skipped yours, but you said we had 80 miles an hour wind a few days ago. 80 mile an hour wind. Now you gotta feel bad for me. I had 8 mile an hour winds today, Montana Farmer.
Horrible weather.
Hey, Steve.
But you got Santa Ana winds coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's not like flying.
Charles, we feel for you, man.
Let's see if you fly tomorrow, Charles. They said 80 mile an hour wind gusts.
It's all good as long as you're not going flying.
Not where I live. This is what Montana Farmer had.
No, they're talking about Santa Ana winds starting in California tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to
start
shutting power off.
Really? Oh no.
Or at least if you don't have power, you can always go flying in the wind.
That's true. That's true.
Do some wind flying.
Yeah.
You don't have to burn gas that way.
Yeah, I go wind flying. I fly a kite.
Yeah,
I'll
do that. You don't want to do that Santa Ana winds. It'll carry you over to the next county.
That's the truth. Steve,
What are you drinking, Steve? Castor oil?
My tea.
Oh, is that Arizona tea?
Yeah.
That's diet. That's diet peach. I know. I drink that all the time.
I have a friend who makes me some purple stuff, grape juice in a jug like that. You want to be at home and not going to be going anywhere when you drink it. That's it. That's it.
So, we snagging off, Peter?
No, this is the Pathfinder LE.
Oh, okay, you showed us.
Look at his stab.
Elevators. You can see the stab, how it comes to a point, almost to a point in the front. And this is how it's designed.
But it's still rounded, yeah.
And then, of course, the elevator would sit on here, and it's also tapered. Whoops, difficult to get this all squared away.
But it's the same thickness as the stab at the beginning.
It is the exact same thickness as, there it is.
Well, you won't have a whole lot of dead spots.
The stab, but the stab itself is a little bit. It is. Oh, geez, come on.
Well, guys, looks like I'm gonna have to get out of here. My battery's
It is
dying, and
pointy.
I'm
It is pointy.
I don't know why. But I'll see everybody Friday night. Y'all be
I'll
careful.
see you.
Hang in, Phil.
Thank you very
You
much.
too. Take care.
See you soon.
I got to
Bye
figure
now.
out what this problem is.
Yep.
Well, I like that spinner back there, Peter. That looks good. That aluminum spinner.
What's that?
I like that aluminum spinner on yourself.
Oh, that.
Is that a true turn or what?
That's a true turn. That's a true turn two blade.
Yeah, nice.
I'll send you my address.
He might send you a couple of windy belt cranks.
Yeah.
And that over there is a true turn three blade.
Nice. You know, I have what's that saying? I have a champagne taste and a beer budget.
Beer budget.
Yeah, I mean, I always catch those little things that are really nice. I don't miss them. I don't know if you noticed that, but I always find these real nice things.
Yeah.
All right.
You found me.
Peter,
Oh, good
anything
Lord.
else to show there? Okay.
Oh, man.
Well, if you can see that or not.
Hang on, Denny.
You be nice.
Oh, wow.
This is the Bearcat stab. It's 3/8 of an inch thick, and I shaped it from about here forward. It gently rolls into a well, you can kind of see it. Rolls into an 1/8 inch thick leading edge.
Yep.
That's then just radius. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Now the other thing, and this is directly opposite of what Len was talking about, but you see on the hinge line there, I really can't see it too well.
No, I can see
Basically,
it.
I'm trying to round off. I'm trying to round off the hinge lines so that.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to round off the edges of the hinge lines now, with the intention being that I'm trying to get as smooth an airflow transition from the stabilizer to the elevator. And since I have a hinge seal, or I will have a hinge gap seal in there, I think it was more important to have that go over smoothly than it is to have a separation at the stab with the elevator hiding behind it.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
Another way of doing the same thing, Denny, is to make your elevator quite a bit thicker and doing that roll on that
yeah, I wondered about that too, but I think I can come pretty close to the same effect here.
Yeah.
Without what I worry about with the elevator making it thicker and stuff like that is I think becomes more sensitive to being absolutely dead centered on the stabilizer.
Yep.
So if you're off by the thickness of the hinge or something like that, if the elevator is standing a little too high or too low, something like that. So not the end of the world, but I don't know. I go back and forth on it. One of these days, I'm going to get brave enough to try a thick elevator, but I've never tried a thin one, and I just haven't been able to talk myself into that at all. So
Ultimately, it's what your skill of a builder is. If you're not a middle or advanced builder, don't try to do airfoil stabs and elevators because you will rip your hair out trying to do them.
well, just it depends. I think that there's a lot of good builders who are not necessarily excellent, expert stunt flyers and stuff like that.
True.
You give them
That's
a
true,
challenge
too.
like trying to build carve a nice stab and stuff like that. A lot of them can
Exactly.
handle it in their sleep. So
Yeah, that's
No,
true. You got
no, true. It's when we get down to I don't know if we call this esoterics or not, but ultimately, if you're getting started or you're not someone who's comfortable, I wouldn't say comfortable building airfoiled stabs and stabs and elevators like this elevator is definitely airfoiled, and its hinges are all pinned out at the very, very exact center of the elevator, and of course you have to do the same thing on the stab. It's don't try to go there. Basically, a flat stab and a flat elevator with what they say. There was a whole discussion about the profile of the elevator or profile of the flaps. Do you want to leave the edge? Do you want to leave the you want to leave this edge square, or do you want to leave this edge rounded, as I have it rounded on mine? Ultimately, just leave it square, and then progress on. If you don't think that's performing well enough, then progress on to something that's a little bit more elaborate.
The good thing about a square edge on a trailing edge is that you get a clean separation point. The air always comes off, and the wake is very steady. If you have a radius, that the separation point for the air coming over it can be unstable and it can move around on you. So having trailing edges square is not a bad idea, no matter how thick they are and everything like that. I shot.
That's what I do.
Shot for a 16th inch thick, but squared off. All right. So.
All right. This is what I have.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It's an aluminum plate.
That's perfect. That's what you should be doing.
That's an aluminum plate.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the point that we're making here is there's about a dozen different ways of doing it, and they all work to some degree or another.
Yeah, exactly that.
Well, what got me thinking thin trailing edges is when I started flying sailplanes, and I've seen Trian's molded hand launch glider. I know where he is on that.
Mhm.
Basically, you can hear the air. If you're at the sailplane field, you can hear the airplanes that have a thick trailing edge. All right, when they get moving up at speed a little bit, they actually they make a whooshing sound as they come by because of the large turbulent separation behind it. And you watch the glass slippers fly with the trailing edges that are down to nothing, and they're silent, and they penetrate better. They do everything better. But that trailing edge is a big source of drag, I think. On a sailplane, I think it's more important than it is on a stunt plane. But then again, I can't tell you why it's not important on a stunt plane. If you know a better way to do it, why wouldn't you do it?
I have a question from Montana Farmer. Just a second, Lynn. Montana Farmer says, do you use all one airfoil, or does every plane use something different?
It's
B.
Historically,
B.
all of them follow a certain pattern. After there was a big discussion on Stunthangar about this, about airfoils, about the Pattern Master airfoil and the Trivial Pursuit airfoil from back in the back in the 80s, 90s. And ultimately, there was a big controversy, not a controversy, but a discussion going back and forth what the positives were of each one. And ultimately, what it turned out is today, pretty much every stunt airplane that's been built so far has been more along the lines of the Trivial Pursuit, which is it's not so much the airfoil or the fat airfoil, but it's the leading edge of the airfoil on the wing, which is supposed to be rounded rather than pointy.
Well, and there's more to be said than that. When I draw a wing, I use basically one of three airfoils. The most common airfoil that you use is an NACA 4-digit airfoil, and one of the most common of those is the 18%, because when you add the flaps to the back, that 18% goes down to about a 16%, because you have to consider the flaps as part of the chord. So most, for instance, Bob Palmer's favorite smoothie, the one I drew, has a 18% airfoil and a 4-digit airfoil. The T-Bird, I believe, had an 18 or a 4-digit airfoil. A lot of 4-digit. The Legacy, I know, has a 4-digit airfoil because that's what I drew on it for Alan. So a 4-digit airfoil is really not a bad airfoil.
It was very good, actually.
Yeah, and then you can go, when you get in windy and turbulent conditions, one of the things that you get a really blunt airfoil, it has a rough time penetrating without being bounced around as much, a lot in flight, because of all that drag right at it doesn't penetrate. But if you go to an Epper, I think the 206 or 189, that has the same thickness on an 18% as the 4-digit airfoil, but it has a slightly smaller radius at the leading edge, so it penetrates a little better. The NA63A, which is another of the NACA airfoils, starts off, it's the same thickness and has a slightly smaller radius, and I've played around with that, and those are the three airfoils that I use a lot. If I know it's going to be flown in an area where you're dealing with wind gusts, things like that, I'll go with either the NA63A modified or the Epler. If I know it's going to be flown in all kinds of conditions, I'll go with the 4-digit airfoil.
Basically, these days, though, it's turned out that most stunt airplanes either follow the Trivial Pursuit, the Infinity airfoil, or the Thunder Gazer.
But if you look at those airfoils, Peter, they're not far off from any of those three airfoils I just talked about.
No, I understand. But then all of a sudden somebody came up and discussed that if you're flying electric, that may no longer be the standard.
Well, it isn't even. It's not only within the electric. The Skinny Diva had a 14% airfoil. It was an IC powered airplane. Okay, you know what your airfoils. We make a lot of, how would I put it? We make a lot of big to do over an airfoil.
Yep.
It may or may not need to be made, because if your weight and the amount of weight per square inch or square foot or whatever that a wing is carrying, if it's within a reasonable, you can do it with a skinnier airfoil. A thicker airfoil doesn't necessarily equate to more lift, but it does give you drag, which in the days of 424 engines,
yes,
you're running a 60 Super Tiger on a 650, 670 square inch airplane. You needed that big flat.
Yep.
Thing
They were using the wing, the airfoil of the wing, not only to fly the airplane, but also to do some form of speed control.
Right. But then when you get to the piped airplane, you don't necessarily need to think about that. And electric, you got so much controllability with electric with your speed and being able your governors on the. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing a need for anything any thicker than an 18% at any time.
Yeah.
And that's before you put the flap on.
What was the nobler?
14.5%, 16, somewhere in there.
Yeah. Mine is 16 at the root, 14 on the tip.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. 16 at the root, 14 on the tip. And actually, it started with an NACA 0018.
Yep.
The 18% that was widened on the trailing edge to a 3/8 of an inch to accommodate for the flaps. And after that, I scaled that down, and I kept the 3/8 of an inch. I scaled that down to about 16%, I think.
Yeah.
And I said the idea was that I can always make the mold deeper, right? And I can also always cut material, polish it out, and to make for a thicker airfoil. And I never needed it. And actually, I kind of find out what you're saying, what you're talking about is penetration. When you fly in a wind, if you have a very thick airfoil, that thick, big fat wing, it's when the plane comes into the wind. Let's say you start a wing over, right? Just before the wing over, the wind is blowing, is going to slow you down big time as you penetrate through the wing, and then you go upwind. You're kind of slowish, right? Another example is overhead 8 or even vertical 8, right? Overhead 8. So you start kind of slow, and as you come overhead, the wind is kind of accelerating you. So when you get overhead, it shoots you very fast, but as soon as you turn around into the wind, it plane slows. He hits the brakes over there, big time, right? So now you find yourself like, oh my gosh, the plane is not going to pull through, right? So you fly kind of level, and then you pull it up in a wing over kind of thing. You call it an overhead 8, but it's kind of overhead wing over, more or less, because of that. And you can also see it in for example, in the hourglass, when you turn hard and now you try to come into the wind, right? And the wind slows you down because of the big fat airfoil. Now, if it was a thin airfoil, everything changes, right? Because you plow through the wind, and now you can climb, and you can cut through the wind here on the overhead 8s. In hourglass, when you come inverted and you start the climb, thin airfoil is going to penetrate, it's going to power through, even though you don't need as much power to drive you through over there. I don't know. I think.
Well, if you can't decide on the airfoil, put one on one side of the airplane, one on the other, and then decide which one to let.
Then you can do rolling maneuvers as you go around. Yeah.
Yeah.
Then you'd be wing walking, right?
I'm sure I'd like to hear what
for sport flyers. It really makes no difference. But don't get too deep into the weeds with this stuff if you're a sport flyer. Ultimately, if you want to just get the information for sport flyers, this just gives you an idea of why any airplane that you fly acts the way it does. This is really into the deep weeds of stunt flyer stuff.
Well, that's true. For the sport flyer, a four-digit airfoil is probably all you'll ever need.
Yeah.
And that's a good airfoil, and it will do the job for you. Right, Denny? Yep. He shook his head. I saw that.
Hey guys, check this out. This is how the part looks in a mold.
Let me click on you. Hang on. There you go. You're big now.
So,
wow.
So that's obviously not the thing that got damaged in the mail, obviously.
Somebody's looking to get into a business.
So this is how the part looks in a mold when you mold them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I clear up a little bit of this section. This is where the spar is. It kind of goes like this. You can probably, if you look very carefully, you can probably see in the surface here, you can see a little bit of a bump.
Yeah, I do see it. I did see it.
But it's just right here, if you can see it right there. So it goes across this way. And we put a piece of foam in here. over there, and over there, this is the spar itself. So when you make a tube inside the carbon fiber tube on which the wing actually, the stabilizer actually assembles, right? That's going to be connected directly to the spar. And yeah, so this is how they look like. And once we're done with this, if you can see, this is the trailing edge and the leading edge. We put a piece of Kevlar in here. So when you close the mold, it's going to become the hinge later on.
Cool. Yes, but will there be an IC version?
You can use this for IC. Oh, I see a version of Revolutions.
Yes.
It was designed with that in mind.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was originally designed with that in mind to take a tune pipe motor and have enough room underneath for the tune pipe, or you can use it with a plain. But then you're gonna have that. You have to worry about the oil soaking through things, right?
Well, that can be mitigated. I'm just curious. I'm just like, yeah, I would love to see one of these fly with an IC engine.
Yeah, but then the wing would be too thin for an IC motor.
Not for a
just
pipe
lower the
engine,
pitch.
no.
You can
No,
just
not
lower
for
the
a
pitch.
pipe engine gives you almost the same amount of speed control as electric, not as much.
No.
Hey, that's why Tryon made the nose removable. If he got in any trouble with the electric, he's just going to take and just quarter turn latch a pipe motor on there, and he'll be good to go, right?
No, seriously, you can actually do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you had an IC setup, especially for like a rear muffler setup, you can definitely put that on a plane and have the exhaust coming underneath the nose. Yeah, just like that.
Mhm.
And put an
That's
engine
it.
clutch in there, and then you're done. And
That's
now you
it.
have.
Okay, hey, I have an extreme airfoil I want to show you. This is an airplane I've been working on for a little bit. This is,
wow.
Yeah, it's quarter-inch sheet. And they're not on it yet, but it will have flaps and everything like that. And this is based on the Australian flight airplanes. You guys notice those in the forums?
Is that Australian design?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the Australian plank airplanes. They had a number of airplanes that they're basically quarter-inch sheet wings, around 450 squares. They flew them with Enya 19 diesels of all things.
Yeah.
And reported to fly really well. And my dad was actually vacationing in Australia, and well, vacationing is kind of a loose term. He ended up judging at their nationals, and he had there was somebody there flew one of these things, and he said he couldn't believe it. He's watching this guy fly this plank wing airplane, and he said he was in no danger of winning the contest, but it flew very well. And it flew well enough that my dad asked him to come back the next day, and my dad brought his video camera and stuff, and he videoed it because he didn't think anybody would believe it. So just a quarter-inch plank wing with a flap on it.
That's amazing.
So,
what kind of lap times did he have?
Wow.
He must have been like under 5 second lap time.
yeah. Oh, I don't know. Don't know much about it. He didn't say anything about it flying especially fast or anything like that. Remember, with a quarter-inch wing, the faster you go, the more it flexes. So
The thing is, a 19 diesel is a torque machine.
a torque machine. The things were designed with like 5 degrees of engine offset, which is a bunch. And he said that the regular Glow 19 wouldn't keep up with it. I think they were really They had to be really draggy doing maneuvers, because there's no lift doing any work there, right? There's no airfoil doing any work, so it had to be basically just kind of the set of vanes pointing the fuselage in different directions, and then the motor doing the rest of it. So
yeah,
I don't know. It's like he couldn't believe it worked. I can't believe it worked, but it's worth a stack, worth a stash of balsa just because.
Just because.
It's about.
I'm sure it has to be very light though to work.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to build, actually.
Yeah, you guys, I got
Pretty easy to fixture. So
Montana Farmer. He wants to thank you guys. He says, yes, that's what I was wondering if I was NACA, NACA airfoils. Thanks, guys.
yeah,
they should do it. Yeah.
you say
Now,
you support the NACA 4-digit airfoils are pretty doggone forgiving in just about any application and modeling. From control line to free flight, any place out, they ain't bad. They may not be the very best in one place or another, but wherever they're at, you're not going to get into trouble using them.
Right.
Yeah. But that being said, since we're talking about elevator airfoils, we never talked about elevator position. So I think you're gonna benefit a lot from adding torque to the to change the angle of attack of the wing in a maneuver. So placing the elevator close to the wing, I don't think it's an advantage.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter. Yeah, for the same deflection, let's say you deflect the elevator up 10 degrees, right? It creates some force, an amount of force down, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, that force multiplied by the distance from the center of gravity to the center of pressure in the elevator, right, gives you the moment. It's like on a wrench. You want to put a wrench on something, you want to torque it to turn it, right?
Right.
Now, if you have a longer range with the same amount of pressure, you're going to put much more torque. You're going to change that angle of attack of the wing with much more ease, right? So which means two things, you're just going to have, but now you can't go too far, right? Because now you're talking about the speed of reaction, right? You have a certain speed. So there has to be a balance over there in between the speed of reaction, how fast is moving down, right? Which is acceleration, force is max time acceleration. So now you're talking about how heavy your tail is, right? So if you have a very heavy tail, then it's not going to accelerate and move down fast enough for what we need. So, or even if it does, if it's so far out, the angular acceleration is going to be relative small, right? Now, you can't go too far with that. But if you position it just right, you have you can. If you position it too close, you don't have the torque, right? Because the arm is shorter, force times the moment, right? But you might have the acceleration. Go ahead.
16 and a half to, at the most, 20 inches, hinge to hinge is about
Depends on what plane. I mean, it's a full-size plane. Are we talking about 60-size plane or whatever?
Well, I'm talking about the, 67. I think Buck's Infinity is about, I don't know, I see the number 22 sticks in my head. I don't know if that's still the number he uses, because he mentioned, I think he mentioned today on the hangar, talking about with Iger Berger about this very subject. I think he said something between 16 and a half and 19 and a half inches is where you're gonna where you start getting into losses after that. That's the sweet spot.
Okay, yeah.
The Revolutions is what's your
21 and a half.
21 and a half.
You've designed for that.
That's very long.
That's very long.
That's one of the situations where there's always something that's outside of the realm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the issue at hand is I don't know if anybody has really reported hard data that says, gee, this one is too long.
Yeah.
I've never heard of somebody saying, well, it's too long. And the reason it's too long is because it does
A, B, or C.
Or that. I don't know that we've seen too long.
Yeah.
I don't know.
True.
I saw
airplanes longer and they kept flying better, and I kept making them longer and they kept flying better, and I haven't I
Yeah.
haven't run out of it yet.
I saw too long in
I'd
RC.
have to agree with you on this one, Dennis. And another thing that happened is that my plane will not stall in a corner. It will not stall. It doesn't stop and goes or anything like that. It just turns and continues on. Simply because I have so much force, so much power in that elevator. When I demand of it, the power, it torques the wing, and the wing bites in the air and turns instantly. So I have much less deflection in the controls as well. I don't think I'm using more than 10 degrees or maybe 15 maximum in a whole flight. And you know how it turns. You've seen the videos, perhaps.
It flies extremely well. So,
Yeah.
But
all
there's
right, I'm going to go off the reservation in another way too. And you talk about a range 16 and a half to 20. So why 16 and a half? All right.
Yeah.
I have. I'm a big proponent now of the idea that if you have a set of moments that works well on your 60 size airplane, use the same moments on your 35 size airplane.
yeah.
All right. So you end up with the same length fuselage no matter what the airplane is. And you'd be surprised. What you find is that the little airplane it flies like a big airplane. It has the same feel to it. I think the length of the fuselage is what gives you the tactile feedback that you're looking for. And when you're doing maneuvers and whether how it grooves and everything like that, it's all a function of the length of the fuselage, regardless of whether it's a nobler size airplane or what you call it, a Strega size airplane.
Dennis, you can even go farther than that. I built a half A plane, which I think it was in 1998 or 99 when they first offered the half A contest at the Nats, and I flew the whole pattern with it. Man, that thing flew wonderful, and it was actually an I-beam wing construction with but the numbers were very, very similar to SV11 or something like that. It's scaled down. Just that's all was to it, and that thing just flew amazingly nicely.
So you were using a ratio then.
I have another question from the chat. Montana Farmer asks, "Why not balanced elevators?" And I don't know what he means by that. Can someone explain that and answer that for me?
You mean a mass balance? If he's talking about a mass balance, I think the answer is that there isn't that much mass to balance, so that the payoff is pretty small too. The elevator part, well, this total system here weighs 1.4 ounces. Stab, elevator, horn, and everything like that. Of that, the elevator is, call it half, call it 6/10 of an ounce or so. There just isn't enough weight there to really matter. So I guess that would be my feedback on it, my answer on it.
See,
yeah.
Along those lines, a lot of people want to have a stabilator, and though they can be made to work, it's very difficult. They haven't been into normal use in precision aerobatics because of the difficulty getting them to work well at our levels. And so, the idea being easy to make them wanted. The idea being is that you get part of the leading edge gets up and the whole thing takes a bite rather than just the elevator themselves. And that's what the mass balances do at the tips of the elevator is they also increase the bite, you might call it, for lack of a better word.
Well, I have something to say about that. It happens to when I was building my discus launch glider planes, I found out that that's really an issue, right? But that issue goes away real fast depending on where you place that pivot point.
Yep.
Okay, so you place the pivot point too far forward, that you need too much force to move it, right? You pitch it too far back, then there you get into that case scenario that you are talking about. and becomes very dirty and unstable. So it depends on where you want to put it. Um,
Well,
so,
yeah.
but I think it's if you go about 15%, you should be just about right. But if you put it too far back, I mean, you're asking for it.
Well, and a whole lot of combat flyers can't be wrong because most of them are running flying stabilators.
Yeah, right on the leading edge, right?
Right at the leading edge, or just barely be a little bit behind it. That's the most, you know.
Technical, it's on the leading edge. Yeah.
Yeah, technically it's on the leading edge.
Yeah, that's
What about
so.
the elevator on a Chipmunk? I know that has.
That has balanced elevators.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to
So
make sure you talk about what I thought what you're talking about.
On the super chipmunk, you mean? Not
now,
the chipmunk.
this is something I was toying with. I said maybe if I need it, if I need it, but I never got in a case to actually need it. So what I was planning to do is to design an elevator that's gonna go. The first 10 degrees will be just the elevator, right? But as the elevator goes past the 10 degrees, then the leading edge will just drop down
Groups,
like
yeah.
this, and so he's like a dead zone of 10 degrees where the elevator works, which is beautiful for level flight loops and stuff like that. So then when you increase it, then the leading edge is gonna drop down. It's gonna be down with like some sliding cams that move
That's a
back and forth.
take on logarithmic setup.
No, it's cam. It's gonna be a cam.
Oh yeah, but I mean, what I mean by logarithmic is you're getting more control with more deflection, little control with.
No, the logarithm idea is to have like horsepower pushing the controls, right?
Well, what I'm
And
thinking
because
about is
it's
where
diminishing at a tip, you have more force moving the.
what I'm thinking about, Tran, is that a lot of them want just around. They want it soft around neutral, so that they don't they feel that it'll stop them from helping.
But logarithm, it's completely opposite. It moves a lot around the neutral and less towards the endpoints. So it's kind of playing on the idea of you don't
Are
need
you
so
talking
much.
about Iger's system
Yes,
or
no.
Bechtel's system?
The logarithmic, it's a you can go exponential or logarithmic. So logarithmic, what
Okay,
logarithmic
I'm
does?
sorry. I was thinking exponential.
No, yeah, exponential. That's what I have. But logarithmic is when you have the opposite. It's just you have a lot of movement around the neutral and less movement towards the towards the endpoint. So what does translate is into mechanical force, right? So
Right.
you have more mechanical force available to move the controls more, right? And around the neutral, yeah, I mean, don't care too much. Uh, so that's that. But if you don't need so much deflection in the controls, what I'm running on mine, I'm running X point mine. So I have a very nice and soft and docile neutral spot where the plane tracks and just goes nicely, right? But as soon as I require more deflection, it's instantly available. So then that's where it just turns the plane and it goes. Now that's also a combination. There's something else that makes it work very well. It's because I have the tail is so far back. I'm using little deflection on my control surfaces to achieve a high rate of turns and stuff like that. So I don't need the excess force that Igor needs. Probably I'm going in this range. Igor probably goes in that range, right? So he needs the extra force to get there, right? Because you have so much line tension, and based on the line tension, that's only so much. Depends on how much line tension you have. That's how much the pressure on which you put on the controls to move them is directly proportional with the line tension. They have very little line tension, then you can only move a little bit, right? Because you are being overpowered by the controls. I mean, makes
One
sense.
of the things
You have a lot of line tension now. You can move them. Now the logarithmic makes it so that you have little line tension, you can still get the job done.
One of the
Hold
things.
on one second, guys. We have a new guest, Chuck Lewis. Is that right? Or Charles Lewis?
I don't think he's got his speaker on.
Your mic's not on, Mr. Lewis. But we see you, which is cool. And Peter, I saw your message, Peter. I'll get to you in a second.
Well, let me finish up this discussion with Trey, and then while we're waiting.
Go ahead.
Trey, one of the things then that what we have is as you start off with working with swinging arcs, as far as the direction that your elevator horn is moving, you have most control right around the neutral point for given motion. But as you get further up, you've got most of your motion now is up and down, which is not fore and aft. So you have that logarithmic, I think it is. So you already have that, and I know that Igor, where it was, I know Igor likes logarithmic.
Yes, that's correct.
But he's already got logarithmic. You already have it. That's what our system is, unless you go with modifying something like Bachel's.
No, it's mostly linear, sort of linear, right? But for most part, we have a linear system on a regular control.
No, it isn't. You've got an arc. You've got a, say, a 1-inch radius arc that you got going at the elevator, and so and you got say linear motion. You got say 1 inch of linear motion, but as it swings down here, it's up here near the first 10 degrees either way. You're pretty much linear motion, but as you get here, the motion now goes down.
Yeah, but you need to think about the fact that at your control horn, you don't have a linear motion. It's still about a 1-inch arm, 3/4 of an inch to 1-inch arm going on a radius too. So
right, but
a radius that the elevator goes on a radius, and if you have them kind of sort of perpendicular, you
oh jeez,
pretty
much guess even Stephen.
Well, I'm boring Peter, but the point I'm trying to make is because I've had to, when I was working out the system for correcting the geometry, I ran into that problem with what was happening at the extents of the throw on your bell crank and on your horns. So that's why I say you've got logarithmic to begin with. Maybe you get more, maybe you want more, but you've got it to begin with.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Oh,
Good.
good. Okay.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming in.
Good job.
Chuck. That's awesome.
How are you?
Now we can see
Good
you.
evening.
Good evening. Welcome to the party.
Well, thank you. I just kind of happened onto this thing. I'm I guess a brand new subscriber to Stunthangar.
Excellent.
And I noticed the invitation, and I wondered if this was the right time. And sure enough, you guys are still going. So
yeah.
Where are you from?
Yes, come back every week.
I'm in Huntsville, Alabama, but I grew up in Detroit, and I flew control line as a kid. I think we were flying Ringmaster Juniors and that kind of thing back in the late 50s.
So do you know Dennis then or not?
No, I guess not. We were my buddy and I used to fly in Rouge Park. I don't know whether you know Detroit or not, but
yeah,
there was a circle up there, and every now and then we'd go out there and fly. When I left home after graduating from college, I left a partially assembled Thunderbird and a Fox 35 and a McCoy Redhead 19. So here I am at 82 years of age, thinking I'd like to fill some squares And there's an active control line group here in Huntsville that I have not contacted yet. I'm going to do it. But in the meantime, I've been doing my homework and window shopping and trying to figure out what I should put together. I'm thinking about the ubiquitous Ringmaster, maybe with an OS 15 FP or something like that, kind of medium sized.
Now, do you have the motor and all that stuff now?
No, nothing.
Let's talk about skills first.
Yeah.
Start from the beginning. I mean, can you fly the pattern, kind of, sort of, or
no?
Do you know how to fly?
When I dropped out, I was just trying to become comfortable with inverted. So you're looking at a newbie.
So newbie. Okay, cool. So I guess so a couple of things you might want to think about. Obviously, the Ringmaster is just like a go-to weapon nowadays. Maybe a Ringmaster that's electric you might want to consider too, because you have that. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Everybody's showing off the what it appears to be is that the consensus seems to be that everybody has to have at least one Ringmaster.
True.
Yes, when you get started, you have to have a Ringmaster or a Sterling P51 or a Sterling.
Yeah, I've looked at actually,
like Chevys and Fords, it's like White Streaks and Ringmasters. Those are the two you have to have.
Yeah, everybody seems to be out of Ringmasters. Nobody's got any Ringmaster kits right now. But that may be changing before too long. The other one I was looking at was a Twister, and I guess what I'm looking for.
Good choice. Excellent choice.
What I'm looking for is an easy to build, easy to repair profile that doesn't have to be really pretty. It just needs to function and allow me to build some skills.
Have you gone to Brodac.com?
Yeah, I did. They're out of them too.
Oh, they're out.
Yeah,
they're out of stock.
Just build a
I'm surprised to hear that.
If you can find somebody with a plant,
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, this Sig Twister is great. The Sig Acromaster is great. If you can, if there is stock on them, Brodac. There's more than just the Brodac Ringmaster, I'm sure.
Oh yeah,
Brodac has a bunch of them, but like Twister-ish models, right? So you can go with the Twister. Twister is a great model, but Brodac has the Orientals, the P40s, all kind of profile planes.
Yeah, Brodac. The reason we mention Brodac is because you can go to Brodac and get just about everything you need, from the engine to, if you don't have an engine already, to
that's pretty clear. Yeah,
just about everything.
Yeah, for that stuff, for the day-to-day stuff, we still do have a pretty well-stocked hobby shop here in Huntsville. So for CA and fuel and props and everything, I suspect I could get that look. But I think the local guys will probably have some local suggestions for me on that too. The biggest decision, of course, is going to be electric versus nitro.
Do you like to mess with the engines, or you just like trouble-free stuff?
No, I'm an engineer. I love to fix stuff. So
if you already have nitro engines, then if you already have a nitro engine someplace, buried someplace, then start off with nitro. If you don't have anything, go with electric.
Okay, that's the kind of opinion that I was looking for. I'm when I think about filling the square, of course I'm thinking about starting back where I left off many years ago, and of course that's with a glow plug and an engine. So from a visceral point of view, that's where my heart is. But I'm also an electrical engineer, so the electric power plant doesn't faze me.
Yeah, what I can tell you is that Peter is going to have a completely different
not going to have it completely different. I'm just saying that if he already has some glow engines, go ahead and use those glow engines.
He doesn't have
And
any.
you're going to start off from complete scratch. Yeah, go for electric.
Yeah, I
and your
the way to go.
your rationalization is perfectly fine. I accept that. I'm not sure that's where I'm going to go, but that's the kind of input I needed.
Well, actually, there's it's becoming ugly in another way. You basically can't buy a control line engine now the way you could in 1959 or 1960.
I know.
Right.
I paid
That is true.
$15 or $20 for my McCoy Redhead 19, and I think I did
That's going to
much
change
more than that
soon.
for the Fox 35.
Yeah, well, you can still do eBay. Your first thing there when you said you were going to get in touch with the local Huntsville group,
Yeah.
go for it. There's some really good people there. Ty Marcucci, I think is his name, and I can't think of the other guy. It's not Hoffman, Jim something or other. But they got basically these guys have got an accumulation of hardware and airplanes and stuff like that. They might have something that they can give you, that's taking up room in their garage or something like that. Get you airborne in a hurry while you worry about building something.
Yeah, and all of that plays into the equation too.
Yeah, and there's Ty is primarily a gas modeler. He built an electric airplane, but I don't know that I never heard that he even finished it. And then the other guy is a predominantly electric modeler. So between the two of them, you should be able to. They get along pretty well.
That's apparently so, and their typical flying spot is not too far from my house. So it's I don't know why I haven't done this earlier. I got too many other stuff going on, but
perfect.
Here I am. So I jumped in the middle of a discussion on control sensitivity.
That's all. That's
all right.
Don't get involved in the weeds of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, we usually talk about how many angels can dance on the head of a pin, or things like that. I mean, you come right down to it. Some of these things we're talking about, they're really splitting hairs.
Yeah, but that's fun stuff. So I just wanted to add a comment. It looks like both of you guys are really kind of headed in the same direction. One of you is talking about, I think, a cam that you could design that would convert the linear motion to logarithmic, and the other guy was, I'm not sure who was who, but the other guy was talking about the geometry of the control horn, and that's pretty much a trigonometric thing. Mm-hmm. So you're talking about a cosine function there, and I don't think it's logarithmic, but you could make it into logarithmic with some cams and everything. So a lot of ways to solve the problem. But a lot of my background is as a human factors guy, and so the interface between the machine and the man is near and dear to my heart, and that's exactly what you guys are talking about.
Oh, awesome.
I'll tell you what, if you're looking for a kit, check out the Brodak Shark 402.
The Shark.
402.
402. What's the wingspan?
It's like 400 square inches, I think. 300.
Yeah, it's basically the same size as the Ringmaster, only it's greatly modernized. It'll fly circles around the Ringmaster. It'll outperform it, substantially. It's very easy to build, right? The same size as what you're talking about. So normal engine, or people are putting 25s in them. That's the modern. Nobody makes a 19 anymore, but they use 25s.
Yeah,
so.
Cool. Did you design a electric conversion for that too, Dennis?
They sure do.
Yep,
probably do.
Electric conversion for it.
In fact, the electric conversion looks an awful lot like this.
We need to click on you, Denny. Why don't you just do it again, Denny, please?
Oh, yeah, there we go. But basically, you can get the conversion kit and convert your designed for gas airplane into an electric. It's got a
Right.
motor mount and stuff.
Is-
The reason I happen to have this is I did the conversion for it, and I made it so you can mount the motor from in back or in front. I put the front mount in the fuselage that I'll eventually finish, and then this one here is just kind of left over and becomes kind of a visual aid for things like whatever.
Now, if you really want a lot of strength, can you mount it in the front and the back at the same time?
Well, that's it. Oh, my brother's been messing around with that, and his plastic mount and his 3D printed mounts. He's front mounting the motor and then hanging using the bolt-on prop adapter to put a bearing behind the motor.
Oh, okay.
And what that does is, well, it stabilizes everything, of course, but it really takes a lot of the load off the mount. So.
Well, they used to do that with the run along shaft, and they ran it back into a bearing.
Hey, Chuck.
Yo.
Chuck, if you don't know, you're talking to one of the stunt greats right now.
the stunt greats.
Yeah.
I'm not worthy. I'm not worthy.
It's one of the control line greats, the control line great families. It's the Admissions. I don't know if you.
Well, you know what? I've been looking at some YouTube videos of old nationals, and I bet you I'm looking at some folks that I saw on YouTube videos.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Dennis, what do you think about this? There's an it's an ARF. Chuck, let me ask you first of all. Do you want to build your plane, or
I want to build? I'm a good builder. Yeah, I go back to the Silkspan days.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so
and I'm one of the few left, I guess, that prefers to tear the Silkspan off at the edges rather than cut it. But that's an old that's probably an old wives' tale. But I like to do it.
No, 2 thumbs up.
Yeah, we still do that.
Yeah.
Sandpaper.
So yeah, so you can probably get a Brodek has a bunch of kits in here. I was looking at, I was thinking about like whether you want to get up in the air fast or just want to take your time with it or whatever,
My problem right now is that I've got some stuff to finish before I can start doing this. So we're still in the middle of a house remodeling, and frankly, I don't have a place to build right now. But I will.
Almost ready to fly a plane would not be a bad idea.
Right now, I mean, look, this is what I have to build. This is the space I have to build right now.
Are you married?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you will understand then.
Yeah.
So
I'm married too, Chuck. So
I appreciate it.
Hey, Chuck, I'm curious.
I've got far too many hobbies.
Yeah.
Chuck, I'm curious. When you were in Detroit in the 50s, did you have any interaction with the Strathmore Model Club people?
I don't think so. No.
Okay.
We really didn't get involved with anybody else very much. I don't know why. Because I was a ham radio operator still am, and we were involved with the local ham club as well. So
John Miller is a ham operator.
Yeah, John Miller's a ham radio operator also.
How'd you know that?
Oh, because he talked about it before.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, Chuck, excuse me 1 second. We're going to continue, but I'm going to end the live stream. But we're going to transition to what I call the after party. We continue on, and sometimes it's even better than the live stream portion. But I'm just going to wrap up this portion, so hold tight. Don't go anywhere.
Okay.
We'll continue on, but this won't be live streamed. So anyways, I want to thank everybody for showing up, especially we had a lot of great questions from the chat box. I appreciate all you guys showing up and your questions that were great, really added to the show. And we're up to 22 thumbs up, and we're going to end the live stream portion. I want to encourage, if you're watching this as a replay, that we really want to build this channel, so please give us a thumbs up, like and share. That helps the platform grow. We had like 20 viewers and or 22 viewers, and we have 22 likes, 100%. So I really appreciate that. That is absolutely awesome. Excuse me. Now we're going to get back to the after party. We're going to be saying goodbye to you and YouTube, but come back. This is Monday, so come back Friday. Go out there and have some fun, and come back and share with us what you did, and we will see you then. And so we're going to bid you farewell, and be safe out there, and hopefully we'll see you guys Friday. So that's it for now. I'll see you later. I'm going to end this stream.
Thanks for inviting me in, guys. I enjoyed it.
Oh, my, absolutely, yes.
Hang in there, Chuck.